empty things in the morning. I woke up, there was no power in my house. And I
Oh,
was like,
God.
oh my God, I have to leave. Yeah. So I am like calling the electrician. The AC is leaking.
Oh my
God.
Welcome back to Invisible Work. I'm Anjana Panna and I'm here on this hot, sunny Bangalore day, ready to talk to another fabulous mama about the amazing things she does. Not just does this mama take care of her home, her two kids, but she also takes care of all of your food requirements. How does she do that? Well, she has one of the most popular food blogs ever. It's called My Food Story, and today I'm in conversation with Richa Gupta here on Invisible Work. This is where we champion you, dear mama, and today I'm so happy to be here with Richa. Hi Richa, how are you doing?
Hey Anjana, I'm so excited to be here. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you.
Excellent. You know, I have to say that I blame you for not reaching my weight goals most often because I'm always scrolling for a good, easy food recipe, and then there you are making it simple but also adding to my weight. Why, Richa? Why?
I just say mission accomplished. Yeah.
I think what I love about My Food Story is that your recipes are simple, they're short on time, and I think most importantly, you get the idea of nutrition that needn't just be sustenance, right? It's fun.
Right, yeah.
Before we go into food more, I want to ask you, how did you actually start up on My Food Story? What is your personal journey? Because I feel like I was there in the beginning when you started out. You know, when you were toying with the idea of making this your full-time career. You were in a corporate job before this, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. So I think this journey probably started when I was pretty young actually. So I started cooking from a very early age, and I come from a house where like everybody enjoys food, so it came very naturally to me. And then, you know, I went to college and I kind of wanted to do hotel management, but my dad was very against it, because I think he spoke to somebody who was a chef and they said, oh, this environment is just not right for like young girls, it's really harsh, and he absolutely forbade me to do this. We fought a lot, but in the end I had to kind of give in. So I went on, did an MBA, blah blah, worked with a MNC for a long time. But I think this, I'd say this kira of like, oh, I want to do something with food just didn't go away. And so pretty early on, like I think I got married and I just started cooking a lot more, and started, you know, I saw all these websites where people were posting their recipes, and I thought, okay, I can do that, and you know, asked my sister to help me set up like this website and all of that. Just started posting food, and people seemed to like it, and so I just kept doing more of that, and that's how My Food Story started.
Wow. And
Yeah.
I know that, you know, the avatar, My Food Story, is really you, right? Because
Yeah.
you are the face of it,
Yeah.
not just in terms of the recipes, but you put yourself out there. What does content mean now in this world where everything is short form content? How do you compare the content that is being created now to what you started off with, which feels in many ways like it was driven purely by passion?
Yeah, and it was. I feel like content creation was slow, it was more meaningful, it was more, I feel, a lot more authentic, a lot more like thought out. So you had the time to kind of think about what you wanted to do, why you wanted to do it, write about it. Actually, like I think talk a lot in terms of where you were coming from, explain the recipe to people. You know, have definitely a lot more than 45 seconds to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what content has become. So sometimes I feel like it's a little bit like a factory now, because you just keep churning out content because the algorithms have sort of become like that. And that's true for, I think, majority of content creators today. There are some very few content creators who've created a niche where I think they're being they maybe even put out just like 10 pieces of content in a month, and they're still doing extremely well. But yeah, content creation has changed a lot. It's really hard, but I think for me it still gives me that opportunity to tell my stories, even though now they're shorter stories. But it still gives me a chance to tell my stories, talk about the food that I love, and hopefully help people make tasty food in their own kitchens, right?
Right.
So,
But do you still have the website? Do you still post regularly on the
yeah. So I
website?
still have the website, and we still get a lot of readers. I think there has definitely been a shift because of AI,
Mm-hmm.
but we still get about 3.5 lakh readers a month.
Which is
Uh,
quite a big
yeah,
number.
it's a big number, and so a lot of people actually still come to the website. So there are people who've been following me for years, who still come to the website, do a quick search, and they find something that they're looking for, or find something interesting, and they recreate it. We get a lot of comments from people who recreate. So I think that feedback on the website is so important, kind of to keep me going as well. Because social media, there's a lot of like scrolling, liking,
Yes.
saving maybe, but not so much conversation
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm one of those people. I
Yeah.
save so many things,
Yeah,
but
me
how
too.
often do you go back to it is
Right.
the question.
No, me too. And I mean, so many times I'm just scrolling through Instagram or YouTube, and I'm just looking at stuff, and then the next minute I've forgotten about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's true for I think practically everyone who's using social media.
And that is the nature of the beast when it
Yeah,
comes to social
yeah.
media. It engages you so briefly, sometimes it doesn't stick in your
yeah,
head.
it doesn't. Yeah.
Even something like food, which is something so personal to most of us,
Yeah.
you don't engage with it sometimes beyond that one recipe where you might like it or say, this is interesting, which I find is very hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think even with food, right, I feel like there's so much overconsumption right now, not just in terms of content, but even in terms of like food and how we're eating it, and like I feel like a lot has changed, and I think a lot of that also has to do with social media, right? Because earlier you would look for a new recipe once in a while.
Correct.
On most days you would be eating just regular average food that's being made in your kitchen by you, by your mom, by your grandma, or even your cook, right? But I think now because of social media we're so used to wanting something new every other day. I feel like you're not satisfied with what you have, and this is something that I've kind of been, I don't know, I've been thinking about, I've been like grappling with for a while, right? Like for me, it's not just about producing that content, but also like what is it doing,
Yeah.
right?
And given now that all the conversation is about how much protein you're eating, the macros of your diet, fiber, do you then have to tweak your recipes in your head to be able to fit that so that XYZ number of people will come to your page? Is that something you do? Does that take away from the authenticity of what you create? Because I feel like your food is very personal.
Yeah.
And I've seen it change from before you had children to after you had children.
Yeah, I think for me the turning point was having children. I feel like as soon as I became a mom, the questions that I asked about food completely changed, right? How we ate our food, what I fed my kids has just done like a 360 degree like turnaround, right? So I think that has been my turning point, not so much like the high protein trend or I'm sorry, I still feel like a balanced diet is way more important than just focusing so much on protein.
Right.
And I feel like any nutritionist will tell you that, okay?
Correct.
But I feel when it comes to social media and how people are talking about protein, I think it's just the communication that has to change now, because I feel there's so much focus on protein that I think somewhere people think that if they just eat protein that's enough, but that is not enough.
Not at all.
You need to like combine that with fiber, you need to have like other things like even carbs or fats. They're
Yes.
so bloody important. They're- okay.
Beep, beep, beep. But they're so bloody important.
They're so bloody important, right? And I feel like social media does not paint a complete picture. So I personally don't want to hop on to this protein trend, and I get it, protein is very important. We may be deficient as a country, we need to focus on that, but I think your meals have to be a little more than just protein. And So I kind of refuse to hop onto this trend of
Right.
like high protein. I think my meals have definitely become healthier. And not just because of the kids, but just in general. Like I think having two kids has done a number on my body, and
Yeah.
and I can kind of see like things happening, things aching, pains cropping up here and there.
Oh
And
man.
so and so yeah, I mean I think my meals have become healthier, and that kind of also reflects on the food that I'm cooking for people on my food story. Yeah.
Right.
I talk a lot.
No, no, please, I love it. Okay, so may I ask you to walk us through a recipe, from directly from your head to a finished video? What's the process? What does it look like? Where do you draw inspiration from? And what is your team like? Because it can't be a one-woman operation.
It's not. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not. So okay, I'll take the first part of the question. I'll take on that first. So I generally try to have some kind of a content calendar in place every month. It's not like it's not written in stone kind of a thing, but I have a few ideas that I kind of know. Okay, I have like these 10 ideas that I kind of work on, and I have a couple of themes that I want to work on, right? And so I have that in place, and then based on that I build on the content that I'm going to be producing. So we do anywhere between I think 15 to 20 videos a month.
Wow.
And so most of them are recipe videos. Some of them sometimes might be additional pieces of content, like we have an air fry ebook, so we do something around that to kind of boost the sales, or we might do something around air fryers and like how to use them, how to clean them, like what can you make in them, stuff like that, or something slightly different in terms of tips and tricks, etc. But primary content is still a lot of recipe stuff. So I have that calendar in place, I have some ideas in place, and we test out every single recipe that goes out.
Before you shoot.
Yes, before I shoot.
Ah.
And sometimes that also means testing a recipe 5, 6, 7 times till
Wow.
we get it right. Because I have seen that, see, for me, I'm putting these out because people are cooking them. I don't want somebody to spend like 40 minutes doing something and then failing, right? I mean, that is like an instant no for me. And I think for people who spend that much time, I don't want them to feel like, oh my god, what a waste, right?
Right.
So we test everything, which actually takes us a lot of time, a lot more. And I've really literally had recipes that I've made 7 times just to get it right, because every small tweak will get it better and closer to what we want. I've also had to abandon recipes after testing them multiple times because they just don't work. Like there's an idea in the head and you're like, oh my god, this sounds so exciting, and then you keep trying it and you're like, no, this is just not happening. Yeah, and then there are recipes that work in an instant. Like I just do one test and I know, okay, this is it, like this is great. So there's a lot of testing that happens, and then I finally shoot. So earlier I would script things and all. Now I don't, because I feel like after doing it for so many years, I kind of know what shots I'm looking for, what I want to convey. I know these are going to be like my beauty shots. I know like I'm gonna do this and people are going to love it. So I think there's that instinct that kicks in now when I'm shooting something, and I shoot on my own.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I shoot on my own, and I shoot on my phone now. I don't use a camera anymore. I feel like my phone just gives me so much freedom and peace, and it gives you such high quality videos. So I try to keep them very, very natural now, because I also sort of gravitate to content now that is more natural versus like heavily scripted or heavily like cinematographic content for social media especially. So I shoot and then I have a team who edits it, because I hate editing.
Yes.
So I have now like decided that whatever I don't like to do, I don't want to do it.
Wow.
I've not achieved that goal 100%, but at least like with editing, I never learned it.
Right.
I don't want to do it, so I have a team who edits and they're damn good at it.
Right.
So so that's basically what the process looks like in terms of just creating a piece of content. And then there's stuff that goes on the website. So we have like a write-up for the website, the recipe is written and it's reviewed to make sure that there are no mistakes in the recipe, all of that. We calculate what is the nutritional value of that recipe. I have pictures that I take after a dish is complete. We do all of that, and then it's finally published. So it goes on the website, and then it goes on Instagram, it goes on Facebook, it goes on YouTube. We do like stories around it and things like that to just try to make sure that it reaches as many people as it can. So yeah, that's basically, it's a very long process.
Yeah. But you don't have a set team, like you don't have.
I have a team.
Okay.
So I have a team.
What does that look like?
Yeah, so I have 2 editors.
Right.
Okay, I have someone who now helps me with a lot of the content bit of it. By content, I mean primarily what goes on the website. So she's like the editor at My Food Story.
Right.
And she kind of looks at all the content that goes on the website. I have another writer who also works on that content. And whenever we're doing like these ebooks, so like we have 2 ebooks right now. We have an air fryer ebook which has about 60 plus air fry recipes, and not just recipes, right? Like we have a lot of information. It's basically like a guide to anybody who wants to start using the air fryer. So it'll tell you how to start it, what to do, what can you make, how can you make it, how does it work, why should you use it.
Wow.
And then we have all these pre-tested recipes with pictures.
I gotta sign up for that.
Yeah, you should absolutely.
Because right now my air fryer is sitting pretty on my counter.
Absolutely,
Used
catching
twice
dust,
a week.
right? Yeah.
Used twice a week to make chips.
Okay, at least you're using it, because people don't even take it out of their box after they
but
get it.
it is a magical thing to
Yeah,
have.
it's lovely. I use it like practically every other day now.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff in it. So that was a natural, like when I wanted to publish a book, that was like a natural one for me.
Right.
So like my editor works on that. We work on it together, but she does most of the work on that.
Right.
But obviously, so I love the whole cooking and recipe development part of it.
Right.
So I take care of all of that. But
Right.
like how to put that content together, designing it, all of that is her responsibility. And then we have another ebook on Indo-Chinese recipes, which has over 100 recipes. Yeah, so she does that kind of work as well. And then I also have a social media manager who is really, really good at her job. So she takes care of just posting on social media, also some like replying to comments, setting up things on social media, scheduling stuff, like taking care of the content that there is, how to kind of re-edit it or repost it on stories here, there. Like you have a lot to do with that. So she does a lot of that.
And what about reaching to corporate houses or for
So
business opportunities to
I
other
generally
pages?
don't do any outbounds. All
Right.
the work that I get is primarily like inbounds. Actually, I've never done any outbound marketing per se. I have a manager for that.
Okay.
She's also really good, and she's been a great addition to our team. I've actually only been working with her for 3 months, but she takes a lot of my plate in terms of responding to inquiries, giving them like our commercials, pitching concepts. Also, just once like we do agree on a collaboration, then also just the back and forth in terms of timelines, do's and don'ts. So if I'm making a script, and if there are any changes to the script, then she's the one who would be talking to the brand. So then she'll get all the feedback together in one place and then pass it on to me,
Right.
so that I can kind of action
So
it.
it becomes more streamlined
More
for you.
streamlined for me and a little more organized, and just I'm not the one who's spending my time like responding to all those emails.
Correct.
Or just going back and forth in terms of, or even just following up on payments, right? So
Yeah.
she takes care of all of that.
Yes.
And then I also have another person who helps me in the kitchen. So she's also been working with me for more than a year now, and she helps me with like the prep before a shoot. She helps me with testing the recipes. She helps me with just like taking notes, right? Because while you're testing stuff, you might like add something, and then you might feel that, oh, this needs a little more of this, or needs. So all of that, just making sure we have like detailed notes for everything that we're doing in the kitchen, because
Right.
it can get quite chaotic if you just let it.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Which
then
is
you
my
also
entire
forget-
cooking method, by the
right?
way.
So, and as Indians, I feel we're used to so much andas. Like we're not the kinds who measure and document, but when I'm actually putting a recipe out there, it has to be measured. And we are one of the few people who actually give you like some and a measurement for even salt.
Ooh.
Most people will say salt to taste, but
Yeah.
then I know the feeling when you're a new cook where you're like, how much salt to put
Yeah.
in this, right?
What does
So
that
I
mean?
feel like what we do is slightly on the lower end, but we give you a measurement for salt, so you know that this is your starting point.
Uh-huh.
And then of course, then you can taste and adjust, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
without knowing, it can be anywhere from half teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then so we do that as well. So we test it to that level. So that is my team at work, and then I also have a team at home.
Yeah.
And I think it's very, very, very important to mention them, because I feel like as a mom,
Yeah.
if I didn't have that team at home helping me look after the kids, look after the house, I will not be able to.
Yeah,
do
at this point, I should probably interject and tell our listeners that you have two lovely children.
Yes.
You have a daughter who's almost 7
Yes.
and a son who's just about 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So tell us, what's your team at home like?
Yeah, so I have a nanny who looks after the kids. Like, she makes sure, like, when they come back from school, meals are there, and takes them to a class or whatever. Those kind of things. And then I have another person who like helps like clean the house and just make sure everything is in place and all of that. Because I feel like without them, I don't think I can't even come here and record this podcast
Correct.
with you, right? Like, because the kids are alone, they have summer vacations going on. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so and of course there's my husband, who I think if I'm traveling or something else is happening where I have to step out, then he like steps in, and we do the same for each other, where if he's traveling, I'm stepping in. So I feel like it's so important to have that support system at home.
Yeah.
And at work. So, and we are an all woman team.
How
I am very, very
amazing.
proud of that, because I always wanted that. So I've really never hired men. I don't know if that's discriminatory in any way, but I don't really care.
Didn't your husband Denver work with you?
Yeah, he
Didn't you
did.
guys work together
Yeah,
for a bit?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was your only male colleague, so to
Yeah,
say.
he was my only male colleague, and I think nobody minded. Yeah, but he was he was working with me for about 3-4 years. So,
Okay.
yeah, that was also great. And also the some of the women that we have on the team, right? Some of them are like moms who've taken a break, so they have come back, or like people who are like empty nesters.
Right.
Kids have left and they have come back to work, and I feel like the industry doesn't give people like that enough opportunities. But trust
No
me,
industry does, right?
yeah, but trust me, they are so good at what they do. I think that drive to kind of prove yourself again, or like just work again, I think motivates them like nothing else.
True.
So
Yeah, I mean, they have nothing to lose in that sense. So
yeah, they don't,
they
right?
give it their all.
And they're really talented people, very, very smart people. So for them, just to have an opportunity to work and do something is really, really cool. And they will prove you wrong when people say that, oh no, I can't, like, they're too old for me or whatever.
Right.
They'll definitely prove you wrong. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me this, the team that you currently have, how long did it take you to get to this? And also, I'm sure your MBA didn't teach you how to get the beauty shot, set up the camera, audio, scripting. How long did it take for you to get here, where you are a confident content creator and a food vlogger?
So the team that I have been very lucky actually. So I did have people. So I started hiring. I think I hired my first person in 2020.
2020. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So before that, for some time, it was my husband,
Right.
who was working with me. So even when he had his full-time job,
Right.
he would work with me over the weekends.
Mhm.
So he would help me, and video I think had just started in maybe 2016 or so. I remember the BuzzFeed format had just started, so I could shoot the video, but he would help me edit the videos, because
Right.
like I said, I never learned it. I don't like
You're
it.
preaching to the choir.
Yes, I don't like it. So he would edit my videos on weekends or after work.
Right.
So he would help me out with that even then. And then he quit his job, I think, end of 2018. So we worked together for some time. And then I hired the first person, I think, in 2020 after I had my daughter.
Right.
Um, and I think there were a lot of hits and misses for some time. Like I hired people, I had to fire them. I still remember the first time I had to fire somebody. It was not easy for me. But I did have a few people who just didn't work out. And then after that, I hired two people who actually again stayed with me for about 3 years, and they were just brilliant. Like they were young girls, and they were really really good at what they did, and they were so hardworking and so like invested in everything that we did. In fact, when I had my son, I was pregnant, and I had a really tough pregnancy with him where I couldn't work after some time.
Right.
And they really kept the ship going. Okay.
Wow.
For like
That's
6,
something.
8 months when I was completely off work, they were the ones who were handling everything. We were still putting out content. Okay. So I had them, and then they moved on after
Right.
a few years, and I was very okay with that because I feel like at that age you worked with me for 3 years. I'm very very happy about that. We're still in touch, we're still very close. And then again I had to rehire. So there was a period when I think my son was like 6 months old, and I was so sleep deprived, and then people like those two kids like sort of moved on, and I was like, oh my god, how will I ever find people like that again? But I did.
Yeah.
I did. And now the people who are working with me, like one of them has been with me I think for 4 years,
Wow.
one for I think 2 years, one for 2 years again, and there's like one of my editors has been with me for 6 years.
Right.
So I don't know what it is, but I have been lucky in finding the right people who also stuck with me, and that has really helped me like get to where I am.
Yeah.
Full
A-
credit.
and I mean, it's amazing, right? Because this isn't something you ever trained for, but
Yeah.
here you are cooking, here you are editing. Not okay. We
Not
came
editing.
not
okay.
editing.
Not editing.
Finding the right people to edit,
Yes.
but putting out these videos, running this business,
Yeah.
running this enterprise. It's incredible the amount you've learned, right?
Yeah,
Over
yeah.
the years.
So I did do like my MBA was from SIMC in media and communication. I feel like I did have some background, okay, but I did mine in PR.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't really get into the whole, like we also had a course on video and journalism and all of that, which I didn't do. But we did get some background, like there were sessions where we were still learning these things. Although I never really picked up the camera at that time. So when I finally had to pick up the camera, I actually borrowed a DSLR from my sister. Used it for 6 months, and she taught me like what to do, because she was the one who was into photography, not me at all.
Right.
I don't know, I kind of learned on the job, and then so photography, okay, I learned, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I took some courses in how to edit pictures using like Adobe and all of that. And then when it came to video, I think that was another learning curve where me and Denver, we found a course online, and that course literally taught us how to use the camera, how to even switch it to video mode and what to do.
Right.
So learned that. I think most of it was just a sense of aesthetics, I feel.
Right.
I think that is one thing that I have. I have a sense of aesthetics.
Ah.
I kind of know what I want. So I can visualize that I want it to look like this. And a lot of it is a play on light and shadows. I mean, photography is really, people think it's about the camera, but it's actually about light.
Right. You're right.
So I think just learning that did take some time, but I don't know, some of it did come a bit naturally also.
Right.
And then you just keep doing it, and you just practice.
Practice
and
makes
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, it's really true. I mean, you just keep doing it, and it happens after a while, I think.
Yeah.
The rest of it has been really like just starting a blog, how to do this. Then I have somebody like I have somebody who kind of also looks after the technical bit of the blog, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind
The back end
scenes.
technical.
So again, that is not something that I get into. the finance, the accounting bit is something that I'm actually struggling with right now, because Denver used to take care of it, and now that he doesn't have the time, I have to do it, and I keep putting it on the back burner, which I absolutely shouldn't do. But I'm really struggling with that right
Right.
now. So I feel like
So these
I
are the
need,
pain points of running your business. You have to
yeah,
find.
because and also nobody teaches you this whole accounting, how to run a business, like what GST. Nobody's teaching you all these things,
True.
right?
Not even in an
college
MBA,
or
yeah.
in an MBA. Like they'll tell you what to do, but when you're actually doing it, it's very different from.
Is it easy to find this kind of information online and then go about doing it? I'm sure it
See-
takes time if you're researching every aspect, but
See, I have a CA, okay, who'll
Yeah.
file like income tax, who'll file GST returns and all, but at the end of the day, I feel like they're still not gonna do the work for you. You give them the information, but then
Yes.
to give them the information, you have to collate the information,
Yes.
right? And also, you need to know what is GST.
yes.
How does it work? I feel like any time that you're just relying on your CA to do all the work for you, somewhere down the line, no offense to CAs,
Yes.
I mean they're really good at what they do, but I think as a business person, what I'm trying to say is you better know what they are doing,
Yes.
right? If you don't have your finger on like everything, then it's going to be a problem for you down the line. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have my finger on this writing.
Yes.
Okay.
We're getting there. I feel like you've already taught yourself so much. Soon you'll be on
I
top
hope
of this
so,
too.
yes.
It'll be a steaming hot cake of joy. How do you keep your recipes feeling original? We discussed, there's so much out there. How do you keep it feeling original and something that people can say, hey, I haven't tried this before? Because I feel the other thing that a lot of food bloggers do is that they say, okay, this recipe is now trending, so let's try this, but I haven't seen you do that. How do you keep your recipes original?
I have a big problem following trends.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know. I think that is a problem. My team tells me that is a problem, Richa. Some people are doing this. I'm doing something completely different because I've seen too much of that. I don't want to do that, right?
Which is also
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. But I think also the algorithm kind of, I think it helps if you do some trending content. I've seen that because it is trending for a reason, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, a lot of it is like just what I'm in the mood for right now, to be honest. I have seasons, okay, where I get obsessed with something. I just keep making that stuff over and over again, or like variations of it, or I'm like, oh, I want to eat like this, or this is what I want to eat. Like, I had this whole jackfruit season where I was like obsessed with jackfruit for a bit. And then I see, and some of it is just something that I see online. Okay, but then I will be, I guess, inspired by it
Yeah.
to do something different with it, or like add my own twist to it. It would have been a conversation that I had with my mom about something that she's making, and then I would be like, okay, how do I do this for the website or for social media, right? One thing that I've realized now is that people like quick and easy recipes, and that is sort of my niche. They also like recipes that are semi-healthy, so I always call them healthy-ish. Like they're not like outright, I think salads just don't work on my page, okay? So I
Okay.
stay away from them. And I'm also not like, I'm not a humongous salad person. I like them once in a while.
Yeah.
So I guess it aligns with what I would like to eat.
Right.
I also like to experiment, so I can't keep doing the same thing over and over again just because people like it, and I can, okay? So people love chicken on my page.
Of course.
If I want to grow, I can just do chicken. I will grow. I know that.
Right.
But like I can't, because it just doesn't, it's not how I'm eating. I'm not eating chicken all the time, right?
Correct.
I'm
Okay.
eating a lot of, so I feel like putting them out. And
Right.
some of these experiments, like, I wouldn't say the experiment fails. I feel how receptive people are to it or not, because now everything is measured by like,
Yes.
your metrics on social media in a way. So how receptive people are, it can be like a hero or a zero, but
Yeah.
that's okay with me, because I'm like, otherwise I will get so lost in this.
Yes.
Yes.
You will become like every other
Yeah.
vlogger.
Yeah.
And
And I mean, that's just not me.
correct.
So how I keep it fresh is that I might take inspiration from everywhere around me. It could be something that I've eaten at a restaurant even. But what I try to do is I just try to simplify it. And I know that I can cut down like step 4 to 7 and just make it easier for that person who's cooking it, and also give it a twist where it is not like, it is a little bit of like, it is a little bit healthy, so that when you're eating it you just feel good. Have additions like maybe a quick slaw or a quick chutney or like something like that, that just keeps that freshness going, still feels achievable in your kitchen.
Yeah.
I think that is what I
Yeah.
can bring. Yeah.
In terms of, let's talk about revenue. In terms of how you make revenue on your, whether it's website or on your social media, where is that big chunk coming from? Would you say it's YouTube? Is it brand tie-ups? What is your model?
So, I mean, again, something that I'm really grateful for is that I didn't start off as a social media influencer, right? I had a website,
Yeah.
and I actually make a chunk of my revenue still
From your
from the website.
In that sense, you are kind of like the OG of it, right?
Yeah. I am.
Nicely
I guess
done.
the OG of it, and it has helped me in a way that I'm not dependent on social media. I'm not dependent on brand deals for my revenue. Those are all add-ons so far. Okay, I don't know when that will change, because AI has really like changed things for everybody who has a website. But so far I'm still able to make most of my revenue from this. So like, I don't have to take every brand deal that is offered to me, because that is not what runs my ship.
Correct.
So I can still be picky and say, okay, I don't want to do this. This does not align with, my goals or my ideology. So I don't take those things.
Right.
So yes, brand deals make some part of the revenue. YouTube makes it really, like, it's pittance. It's nothing. It's pennies for me. I've also never focused on my YouTube channel.
Right.
Which I plan to do, but yeah, that has never been my focus. So it's mainly the website, and a lot of work goes into running it.
Right.
The ebook has also been fairly successful, and I
So
feel
these
like
are people come to your website and buy these ebooks from you.
they buy the ebook either from the website, but a lot of our sales is driven through social media.
Right.
So we send them to a page where they can like buy it. So
Okay. What, according to you, is the most underrated skill that a food content creator needs that nobody really talks about?
I think it's just consistency.
Mm.
And I feel like it's showing up, and that's true for any content creator, or I think any business, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like that has what has sort of seen me through I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's just showing up, I feel, is one. And then second is, of course, being authentic in whatever way you can, right? Whether you're doing trending recipes or whether you're like just coming up with something new, even there is some level of authenticity that has to come in, because I feel now people can see the difference between whether this is natural or it's not. And people appreciate that with like so much content. I think that's your personality. It could be your voice, it could be how you look, it could be something
How
else.
does one find that authenticity? I mean, for someone starting out, let's say there's a mom who's inspired by our conversation today, is great at doing, putting together recipes. How does she find her authenticity in this chaotic mess?
I think it's very tough. I sometimes like question my authenticity now, because I feel like you see so much, especially so much content, that you're always like, is this good enough? Is this going to be accepted?
And should I do this, more of this or
more
less
of
of that?
And like, is this true to what I want to do? I think that those are questions that I'm sure creators also ask. So I'm sure for somebody new it is tough. But I feel like maybe just do a very simple exercise of just taking a pen and paper and writing down what is it that you care about, or what is it that you're already doing in your life.
Right.
That could maybe help somebody else. right? And then I think it can start from there. And I feel like some people are very good at it, where they're just very, very real in terms of who they are, right? But it doesn't come so easily for everybody, because just putting yourself out there is such a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
So I would say finding that authenticity is tough, I feel, even though you want to be. But I feel like just sticking to who you are is just as simple as that. Like, and you might be worried about acceptance, but now I've seen that everyone can be accepted, because there is a market for every kind. Right? Like, there are always people like you on the other side who relate to you.
Right.
Whether it's a small number or a big number, and the number will grow.
Yeah.
If you keep showing up.
Yeah.
Right?
Your tribe will find you online.
Yeah,
so
your tribe will find you, because that opportunity is there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought, right? Because what most of the time what you hear about social media is that you have to hit everything hard so that you throw the net really wide. But here you're saying that be yourself and your people will find you. That's interesting.
Because you look at any creator, okay? I'll tell you, if you only see the successes, you
Right.
only see them when they go viral. But trust me, there are so many large creators who put in years of work just showing up and putting their content out there, and then they go viral. There are very few who go viral the first time.
And you'll find that those that go viral, in a very short span, tend not to be able to recreate that virality.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's hard. You can't, I think it's hard to stay viral, right?
Yes.
Either you're reinventing yourself, or you're coming up with new ideas to stay relevant, right? You can't keep doing the same thing and expect to just keep going viral. That is never going to happen.
We spoke about how your second pregnancy was pretty hard, and having your children at home while you're also recording, all of those must be challenging. Have you ever felt, moments of genuine despair where you felt like, I can't do both, not in the same space, not in, how different these two parts of your life are?
Yeah.
Have there been moments like that?
Oh, yeah. Many.
Tell us.
I think definitely post kids, especially those like first 1 or 2 years. I think with my first it was easier, because it was just her, and then I think also the demands of like content creation weren't that much. This was 6 years ago, so it was easier. My husband used to work with me at that time, so we could sort of take turns, figure things out, all of that. And I guess I just had more energy also as a person. And then, but I think because I had such a tough time, like my pregnancy was really tough with my second, and then once he was born, he was actually a NICU baby. So he was very small, and so like the first, I think 4-5 months was just hard for everybody in the house. I had really weak immunity. I literally was in the hospital 1 month after giving birth, and I had pneumonia. So I had to be hospitalized for 4 days. And like that entire year, I remember I used to fall sick every month, and I used to like go down with like bronchitis and like virals, and I couldn't talk, and it was really hard. So I think those were times when I was like, I don't think I can do this. And the whole pressure of having a business to run was very high, because it had grown to a point where it was a business. It was, it wasn't like a hobby, right? And I couldn't just let it go. And I had salaries to pay.
Yes.
Right? And people were dependent on me, and I had to make sure that we're making those like timelines, and there was work that was happening in the background, and I couldn't do any of that work.
Correct.
And I think I was trying very hard, so it was like this really messy struggle with, I knew my body needed time, but I knew I couldn't just like take that time. I didn't want to take that time. And I think just feeling this helpless and just coming to terms with the reality that your body wasn't supporting you. It is very hard. Okay, I've always been a very independent person, so just also being dependent on the fact that I need to rest, I need to sleep, I need to take naps. Like, it was really hard for me. Like,
Right.
even during the pregnancy, I remember, so I had hypertension,
Right.
and my hypertension was so high that they couldn't control it with medication. And so my doctor at one point was just like, boss, do you really want to keep this baby? Like, what are you even doing? And I couldn't slow down. And my like Denver had to really be like, you need to just relax. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. But it wasn't like I didn't want to slow down. I knew everything that they were saying. But just to come to terms with the fact that this was happening to me. I'm a healthy person. How can this happen to me?
Yeah.
What are my hormones doing to me,
Plus, in a sense, you had set up this business, which is also
Yeah.
your baby.
Yeah.
And to have to relegate that to the background.
Yeah, and to just say, okay, I'm not going to work, like, what does that even look like? I have always worked, right?
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it was very hard, and I think I definitely was like, maybe I should just shut this down. Maybe I should take a break. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe I will not be able to juggle everything as a mom of two, because like, how will I give time to my kids? How will I make sure I'm still doing this? And then like, everything was different. Like, I took that 1 year, and I feel like by the time I came back, it all looked new. Okay, there were like reels and this and that. I was like, oh my god, I don't
the
even
formats
know.
had changed. New
Everything
formats had been
changed,
added.
okay, and I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I don't have the ability to like relearn everything.
Yeah, oh my god, literally, that's how
Yeah.
it felt if you missed that part of
Yeah. I
Instagram
felt
and
like I
Facebook.
was back in school, where I was like, oh, I missed a couple of classes, now I don't know what's happening. So,
How did you find your way out of it?
I don't know. I think one was my mom. So she has been a working mother all her life, and I think like I would think of her a lot. Like, how did she do it? And at that time it was very different. She didn't have a nanny and a cook. She would cook all 3 meals and work and come back, feed us dinner, put us to sleep, go back to the office. She would do things like that, and I feel like I used to think about her and be like, she could do it.
Yeah.
So maybe I can do it. And I have so much help. Like, I feel like life is easier for us in some ways.
Yeah.
They had a lot of family stuff. They had social engagement. They didn't have husbands who always supported them in everything that they did, right?
Yeah.
And we have all of that,
Yes.
I feel. Yeah.
True.
for most people, at
Yes,
least.
true for most
Yeah,
people.
most people.
I mean, at least a lot of women in this generation do talk about having
Yes.
support within their marriage to
Yes.
find other avenues for
Yes,
themselves.
absolutely, right? And your husbands are okay to like take care of babies, change diapers. My dad never
Which is
changed a
unheard of
diaper,
for the previous generation.
Yeah, it was not there. So I was like, okay, she could do it, I can do it. And I think just my husband as well, I feel like he would always listen to me, and then I think I could see him laughing at me, okay? Like, I know you're saying that you don't want to do this right now, but I know you will want to do this in
Yeah.
2 months' time.
Yeah.
So he never let me feel sorry for myself, first of all, and never let me give up. Like, he has a way where he'll just be like, call my bullshit and be like,
Relax, yeah.
you're like overthinking this whole thing.
Right.
2 months is not going to end this, or like 6 months is not going to end this, and you need to just relax. So I feel like that, and then my team, they were just there, letting me like find my way.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of people, and that time it just flies by so fast.
Yeah, and now you feel like you're solidly planted on the ground.
Oh
you
my
feel
god, you're never in
confident.
control. I mean, Anjana, you should know that. Yeah, why are you even asking me this?
That is
Do
the
you-
truest truth ever.
Yes,
You're
do
never
you
in
ever
control.
feel like you have control? No. You're always wading through deep waters and trying to get like to the surface and juggle like 20 things. In the morning I woke up, there was no power in my house, and I
Oh,
was like,
God.
oh my god, I have to leave. Yeah. So I am like calling the electrician, the AC is leaking,
Oh my
Please
god.
help me.
That is what a mom's
Yes.
everyday life looks like,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's never something unexpected always happens. You have to be sort of prepared,
Absolutely, yeah.
but you still have to keep with the schedule and the plan because that is equally important. Man, how do we do it? Tell me, what is the biggest myth about the do-it-all mom?
Oh my god, there is no do-it-all mom.
There is no-
Trust me, a mom who's doing it all has 5 people behind her helping her do this, okay? Like, I don't think we should try to do it all. Like, just ask for help.
True, yeah.
And I feel like you need that help, man. Otherwise, you'll go nuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
There shouldn't be a do-it-all mom, right? Like, there shouldn't be that scenario because I feel it's so taxing emotionally, physically, and for the long run, it is terribly taxing
Yeah,
because you don't recover from it.
yeah, and really, I mean, there is no do-it-all. You trust me, you take anybody, right? And I keep coming back to this interview that I saw with Indra Nooyi, right?
Right.
Where I think everyone has seen that, I feel.
Yes.
Like where she said that when I was good at work, I wasn't good at being a parent. When I was good at this, I was like
Yeah.
dropping some balls here.
Yeah,
right?
and she talks about how she went to her mom and told her she got this fabulous promotion, and her mom said, "Yeah, but you didn't buy the curd that
Yeah,
we needed
correct.
you to do."
And that's exactly what
that
happens,
is the truth,
right?
you win some and you don't
Yeah.
buy the curd on some
It's
occasions.
the mother who's being told you're not feeding your kids right. It's the mother who's being told they're watching too much TV. It's the mother who's being told, oh my god, there are no groceries in the fridge, right? I mean, I'm the one who's ordering the groceries,
Yeah.
right? I'm the one who's making sure that kids have their clothes. They're not like, oh, they've outgrown pants, so we need more pants. Nobody else is like doing
And
this.
genuinely, like, the brain just doesn't shut off if you're a mom
No
because you can turn off from your desk job,
Yeah.
but you cannot turn off from what 3 other people in your household also need. And
Yeah.
I find that is the genuine problem with what we deal with.
Yeah.
Because even, for example, you have a helpful partner, but that work has to be delegated to them most often.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
more often than not,
absolutely, yeah.
which means you're still thinking of it before someone else is.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like, and I'm not an anti-feminist or anything. But
Right.
honestly, I do believe that men and women are different.
Yes.
I feel like we should just stop fighting it now. Okay?
Absolutely.
The more we fight, like I've come to a point where I'm like, he is wired like this.
Right.
Me trying to constantly be like, no, but why didn't you do this? Why did you think of this? Is not helping me or him.
Yeah.
So now we're very clear on the fact that there's some things that are just completely his responsibility. I don't put my brains into it.
Like editing and finance.
Or whatever, yeah? Like even like stuff with like house stuff, right? There are some things that are just his.
Right.
Okay, I don't put my brains into it.
Yeah.
I might have to tell him, okay, this needs to be done, and then it's completely up to him to figure it out,
Yeah.
get it done, do whatever. And there's some things that are my responsibility, and from a home front, I definitely have more on my plate, but I also feel like from some other places, there are places where he does things I don't even know that he's doing.
Yes. Renewing car insurance
Right.
and health insurance.
Correct.
I don't think I've honestly looked into it for at least 6 years now.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
I'm very grateful for when that email arrives that it's been done because I realize, oh, it hadn't occurred to me. And I think you have to also be appreciative of those partners that,
Yeah.
do these things. It's easy to criticize, but
Yeah.
it's also equally easy to not end up with the benefits of things that they do without.
Yeah. And now after having a boy and a girl, I've seen them both grow in the exact same environment with the exact same toys. Probably, I mean, us telling them the exact same things, reading them the exact same books, they are so different in how they think. My daughter never took a ball in her hand till
Right.
she was much older. My son, the first toy he held was a ball and a car, and he just went to it and grabbed it, okay? And I was like, yes, this
This
is
is
why
what-
we are man and woman, right? Because
Yeah.
they think differently, they're wired, like kind of things that they care about, the kind of things that they like think about. I just like
Yeah.
my daughter's always interested in what's happening in the kitchen, what's happening in the house. She knows exactly where everything is kept. She can tell you like, okay, mama, this is here. If I'm not at home, she'll go and tell Dara, Dara, this is here. You leave
Right.
this here. My son is completely oblivious, right? He just
Right.
wants to play.
Yeah.
I think women are wired in a certain way, men are wired in a certain way, and we just need to accept this difference and celebrate it versus like
and
constantly
come together and find
yeah,
a partnership
come together
to work
and like
through it.
work as a team, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way this is going to go in harmony and peace for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay, what's next? Is there a dream project that you're looking at? You said you're planning to work more on your YouTube page. Is there a book in the works? What's next for Richa Gupta and My Food Story?
So there's actually something that I've been thinking on for a long time. So basically, after I had kids, I've been really passionate about nutrition for kids.
Right.
And like just food for kids, right? And how they look at food and the way they treat food and what does food mean for them in their life, right? And not just the fact that I have to feed them food and they have to be full, right? They should also have a good relationship with food. And I
Yes.
see a lot of parents struggling with that, right?
Yes.
Picky eating is so common. And I mean, obviously for kids, they don't care so much about food, but I feel like they can care about food,
Yeah.
even at a very young age, and they can have a good, healthy relationship
Yeah.
with it. I'm not anti-junk or anything. I
Right.
feel like some amount, we live in a world where some amount of junk is normal and it's fine, and if you restrict everything, then kids are going to gravitate towards it even more, right?
Correct.
But there has to be a balance in
Yeah.
what they're eating. And with my kids, I spend a lot of time with them in the kitchen because I'm in the kitchen so much. It's just natural that they're helping me. They sometimes make their own breakfast. They want to whisk the eggs. They want to butter the bread, and like they want to chop stuff. And even
Wow.
and from a very early age, from when they were like 1.5, as soon as they started to sit and they could hold something in their hand, they've been doing stuff with me in the kitchen. They both love it.
So sweet.
I feel like overall they gravitate towards things which are healthy for them. And I think that comes from the fact that they're seeing food it's not just being fed to them, right? It's something where they have been touching food, they're tasting food. When I'm cooking something, they're sitting there and I'm just like, here, try this. Like, what do you think? Like, do you like it? Do you not like it? They're the kinds who will just come and they'll start to like put their hands in and they'll want to be like, I want to taste this, I want to taste that, can I see this, can I see that? And that is really coming from how many times they're in touch with food.
Right.
They're being allowed to play with food. They're sitting with you when you are like say plucking leaves from something. They're helping you with that. Or they're shelling a peanut, they're shelling a green pea, things like that. We do them in our house like very often, right? So sometime last year I was thinking about what else do I want to do, because I've been doing this for 10 years now. I feel like I want like something new in my life.
Yeah.
Right? So, and food obviously I gravitate towards. I've enjoyed like this part of things that we do with like my kids, and how they eat and what they eat and all of that. So I have been wanting to work towards a program, especially in schools, which is which has to do with food, cooking and nutrition. Okay, so I feel like schools now, there's lots of extracurriculars, right? There's music, there's theater, there's sports, there's like art, right? But food is such a huge component of our life that I feel is not something that schools are doing anything about, even though maybe they want to, right? And also it's something that I feel there is a gap that is now there even at home. Because
Okay.
I have nothing against, like, I'm not trying to pinpoint like parents are not doing this, but I think our lifestyles have changed a lot.
Correct.
I feel like moms are so busy right now, and dads are of course so busy right now. Most kids now don't have grandparents. Okay, when we were growing up, we were spending a lot of time with our grandparents, a lot of time with like other family members, like aunts and uncles, and even if you were born in a nuclear family, like I was in a nuclear family, but I had my grandparents close by. I had lots of aunts and uncles, cousins, and so a lot of time was spent around food and doing things with food. Okay, so you were really in touch with like what was coming in the season, what was growing. Like I remember mango season, or like custard apple season, or like watermelons. Like we would get so excited about these things.
Yeah.
And I don't see that with kids these days. Right? I feel like now it's a lot about pizzas and pastas and sushi, and sure, it's great that they have this global outlook. It's great that they've tried out so many new things, but I also feel like somewhere just knowing where your food comes from, what is going to come next, being in touch with the seasons, doing something with the food with your hands, like maybe helping somebody do something in the kitchen. A lot of that is not happening.
Yeah.
And in a way, it is very empowering for moms that they are not the designated cook anymore, right?
Yeah,
a lot of
true.
moms don't like to cook. And I think earlier they didn't have that choice, but they were forced to do it because that's just what the family system demanded.
Yes.
So kudos to moms, but I feel like there's still a gap now. That gap has been created because moms are not spending time in the kitchen. The kids are not spending time in the kitchen. The dads are not spending as much time in the kitchen. And food, like cooking, for example, it's not just about eating. It also helps with your motor skills, right?
Yes.
It also helps a little with problem solving. It helps you see where these things are actually coming from, things that we're putting in our mouth.
Yeah.
It's not always something that comes to the table. How much time is being spent?
Yeah, and I
like,
feel it's also great for self-confidence because
So
a
great.
bunch of ingredients that come together as a meal.
Yeah, it is, right? It has so many advantages when you're working with food, especially for younger kids. I feel like it forms a base for healthy habits all throughout your life, right? Because when you've grown up eating stuff that you shouldn't actually be relying so much on for your primary nourishment, then when you're growing up, you already have that foundation, built for you. So I've been working on something like this. So I kind of started with doing these workshops. Like I do a weekly class out of my home with a bunch of kids, where we cook, we talk about food, we play games. We taste things that we've never tasted before.
Wow.
And I think the kids like really love it, and for me, I love it. Like it's one thing I really look forward to every week,
How
because it's just
lovely.
so much fun. The excitement on their faces when they create something by themselves, and it's not a baking class. Okay, we're not just doing cupcakes or chocolate, right? We're actually doing real food, where they're even doing things like dal and chawal and like paratha and sabzi, and like these are your life skills, right?
Yeah.
When you're growing up, you're going to need this, because the world is not going to look like this anymore in like 10 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can't even afford a cook. Like look at the US.
Yes.
Right? People have to fend for themselves, and that's when you reach out for packaged and processed food, because it is easier than cooking a meal. But we all need to slow down and spend that half an hour, 40 minutes, just because it's such an important thing in our life. And I feel like we're not spending time doing that one important thing that feeds us, nourishes us, gives us energy, and especially for our kids, right?
Yeah, despite
Because
all the reels we save on Instagram.
yeah, despite everything that we save on Instagram, and I totally get it, our lives have completely changed. So I want to find a way to fill that gap, either by myself or through schools.
Right.
So my goal is to see if this is something that we can incorporate in our curriculum, and have a way to get kids in touch with the food that they eat, and know where it comes from and how they should feel about it.
That's amazing,
Right?
because I think that is the direction that food and education both need to go in, because I'm raising a young boy, and the question he asks himself, asks me constantly, is how do I take care of myself when I want to go abroad and live by myself? And I think this is where the answer is. You know it young,
Yeah.
and then you feel confident enough to
Yeah.
experiment.
And when there are at this age, they're very open to stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, like they want to learn.
Yeah. And they
As
have
they
great
grow up,
memories.
yeah, they have great memory. They're so excited. It's when they're building stuff and when they're working with their hands, they really enjoy it.
Yeah. That sounds fabulous. I do hope this takes off really
Yes,
well
I
and
hope so too.
spreads to all the schools,
Yeah.
because it is something that we could all use and
Yeah.
give to our next generation.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
before we go, I'm going to ask you for a few quick recos.
Okay.
Now, you are the food mama, so I'm going to ask you, are there any, apart from My Food Story,
Yeah.
which is superlative, moms, please do check it out, other food blogs that you would recommend for easy, simplified cooking? Or alternatively, which is what we regularly ask for, recos on a Netflix show you recently saw or a podcast you recently listened to that you really enjoyed?
So I think, there are definitely creators I like who do a lot of quick cooking. So I really like Saloni Kukreja. She lives in Bombay and she also has an ice cream brand. So very inspiring, but I quite like how she whips up some super easy stuff. I go to her a lot. I also like Your Food Lab. His name is Sanjot Kheer.
Right.
But I think a lot of his cooking stems from just explaining techniques to you and getting you to make probably the most authentic version of that dish possible. So it's not always quick and easy, but I think the way he explains it really, answers all your questions, right? Netflix shows now I stick to a lot of really dumb stuff because I don't have the bandwidth to get really invested in a show and then binge watch it all night, because I get like that. Okay, so I just stick to stuff where I can watch it once and just forget about it. I don't want to put my brains into it at all. But I really enjoy watching documentaries on food or even travel and things like that a lot. I read a lot.
Right.
So I can maybe recommend some
Yes,
books.
please.
Okay, so that's one of my favorite things to do. So one of my favorite books recently that I've read is called Tom Lake, and it's by Anne Pratchett. It was a really lovely read. I also like another book called Covenant of the Water.
Yes.
And I remember, I think I finished it. That was my binge reading.
Right.
I finished
It's a
it.
massive book.
Yeah, but I was I think it took 3 days to finish it, but I just couldn't stop reading it.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. These have been two books that I've really enjoyed.
Great
reading,
recommendations. Thank you for that. Okay, Richa, that was great talking to you, and I definitely think, having spoken to you just before lunchtime, I'm going to be binging on a lot of food, but that was a lovely conversation. And Richa has, of course, been very generous. She's offering all our listener moms a great discount on her 2 fantastic cookbooks that are available on her website, which is My Food Story. So go check it out. You can get 100 rupees off on both of her ebooks, which one of it is the air fryer recipes and the other is Indo-Chinese recipes, right? Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. The coupon code to use is IW100 on myfoodstory.com.
Yes.
And all the details are linked in our show notes. You will also be able to find Richa on Instagram on our show notes. Do check out invisiblework.mom for all details. Richa, it has been an absolute pleasure. I will continue to save all of your recipes.
Please do.
And I will also do it. Thank you so much, and I look forward to everything else you'll do in the future.
Thanks, Anjana. I had a great time. It was so easy chatting with you.
Same.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, moms, for listening in. This is Invisible Work. I'm Anjana Panna signing out of this episode.